The Infinix Hot 50i is another release from Infinix and its successor to the Hot 40i. There's really not much to talk about this device as it packs almost similar specs as the Smart 9 which I recently just reviewed, but regardless, I still have to review this, so let's get right into it. Right out of the box, the Hot 50i looks good for an entry-level device. It also comes with same accessories packed with all Infinix entry-level devices, a charging brick, a Type-C cable, and these headphones, which I think is time Infinix included better sounding headphones with their devices, and also this plastic case that does more harm to the device than protection. The Hot 50i comes in 4 different colors. We have the black, the green, the titanium gray, and the dreamy purple. I got the green, which happens to be my least favorite color. The Hot 50i looks okay for the budget price tag and really similar to the Smart 9, even down to the design, with just a few alterations. Speaking of which, with just 147,000 naira, that is around $86, this price shows that the Hot 50i is really aimed at the budget conscious crowd. If you're still here and watching this video and you're yet to subscribe to the channel, please do well to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't get to miss out on any of my videos. Your support really means a lot to me and it keeps me going. Now back to the Hot 50i, let's talk about the display. The first thing you notice is the massive 6.7-inch IPS LCD display. It's definitely a step up from its predecessor, the Hot 40i, which had a 6.6-inch screen, but I guess size isn't everything. This also has support for a max 120Hz refresh rate, which in the right sense is supposed to be an upgrade from the 90Hz on the Hot 40i. But to me, this just feels like a 2024 gimmick and a marketing strategy on entry-level devices. Like I've said in my other reviews, this barely has any impact when you're multitasking or move away from the home screen. At best, you're stuck at 90Hz refresh rate. The 500 nits of peak brightness also makes it fairly usable outdoors. It has plastic frames and back with shiny finishing to the back design, and this does a great job hiding smudges. We now have dual stereo speakers on the Hot 50i and the regular 3.5mm headphone jack, a side-mounted fingerprint sensor, dual SIM support, and an external SD slot that is now expandable up to 2TB. Now let's talk about the camera specifications and performance. On paper, the 48-megapixel main sensor and 8-megapixel selfie camera sounds impressive, but this is not so impressive considering it looks like a downgrade from the Hot 40i in pixels, but the picture quality somehow remains the same. We got a 50-megapixel main camera and a 32-megapixel selfie lens on the Hot 40i, so it only makes sense for this to get an upgrade to the camera lenses and also picture quality, except Infinix is trying to say their camera specs have just been on paper. That aside, the camera performance on the Hot 50i is not so different from what we had on the Hot 40i. In fact, I noticed this takes more time to process while taking pictures, and if you don't have stable hands, you would end up with mostly blurry pictures, but with the right amount of light, you can get some internet-worthy photos. Video recording tops out at 1080p at 30fps with no image stabilization. We also have the dual flash at the back, the camera support flash, and the LED flash that can cover up to 5-meter distance. Under the hood, we've got the same chipset powering the Smart 9 here, the MediaTek G81. I was going to run a benchmark test between these and the Hot 40i, but unfortunately I couldn't get my hands on the Hot 40i. But judging from benchmark tests I came across, the G81 slightly outperforms the Unisoc T606 on the Hot 40i with the GPU frequency and CPU clock speed. While this might not be the best chipset on an entry-level device, it still gets the job done. While using this device, I noticed occasional lags and some apps might even take longer time to launch, or when switching between apps. You just have to keep that in mind if you're a heavy user. The Hot 50i comes with 4GB or 6GB of RAM paired with 128GB or 256GB of internal storage space. I'd always advise to go for the 6GB of RAM to get a better performance from these devices. AI is currently making a wave and Infinix isn't left behind. They've included some of the AI features on this device, and I'm guessing Infinix is aiming for AI inclusivity on all of their devices. It doesn't matter if it's a high-end one or a budget device, you still get some AI features. Now back to Folax. That is what Infinix is calling this AI. AI. Just like we have Bixby and Gemini, this AI is quite useful and has a lot of use cases. All you have to do is hold down the power button to activate it and send your prompt or even ask your question. You can even ask it to write mails or even play music from your music player, or you can simply launch it from the settings app. Even though this AI is still relatively new, and from my experience, it still needs a lot of improvements to make it a lot more responsive, but this is good. Yeah, it's not every day you come across entry-level devices with AI features. Another cool feature on this device is the dynamic bar. It's not groundbreaking yet, but it's slightly better than what it used to be. It also adds a nice touch to the device with new shortcuts added to it, like the media player shortcut and playback options, and there's also the NFC card swipe. This could also come in handy if it works in your region, and yeah, it adds more life to the dynamic bar idea. Infinix also included the 48 months of smoothness certifications we've seen all over their phones lately, and after a little digging, I got to understand that the TUV SUD we see on the pack is a certification body, and this certification demonstrates that this smartphone has been tested and certified to maintain a smooth performance even after 48 months of continuous use. I'm not sure how they came about this conclusion, but I guess I'll leave it up to you guys to let me know how your phone performs even after 48 months of continuous use. The Hot 50i runs on XOX 14.5 based on Android 14. This UI is clean and user-friendly. My only issue here is the bloatware loaded on this device, but nothing a quick uninstall wouldn't fix. There's also a bit of customization for the lock screen. There's always on display here. You can select which style and format you want and further customize it to your liking. The 5000 mAh battery here has a standard battery performance. With moderate use, you can easily get through most of the day on a single charge. The 18-watt charging, on the other hand, isn't the fastest you can get, but that's what we get for this price point. On paper, the Hot 50i is IP54 dust and water resistant. This is something we didn't have on the Hot 40i. It's not completely waterproof, but it can handle a splash or two. So if you're wondering what has changed with the Hot 50i over the Hot 40i, you have the bigger display, a higher refresh rate, the latest Android version, and of course a better looking design. So what do you think? Is the Hot 50i hot enough for you, or does it leave you cold? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and hey, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys on my next one.